What is going on, everybody? It is Voodoo here, and I am here with a very special, important video that I would really appreciate if everybody would watch. And I will admit right now that it's most likely going to be a lengthy video, pretty long, so, don't rush or anything like that. When you get the chance, when you get the time, I'd really invite you to watch this whole video and give me your honest feedback. I know a lot of times I ask for feedback and a lot of times I don't get it, but this is one video where really I really implore you guys to leave some feedback because it would really help me out. This update really affects my entire YouTube channel and where I go from here, and so it would be really great and would mean a lot to me if you guys would leave me some feedback, some constructive feedback on what you think about this video, and you know, where I'm going, basically where you guys think that I should go from this point. But in this video, I'm basically going to detail for you guys some radical changes that I have in my mind about making for this channel, because by the time these changes are implemented, it will not be immediate. It will be in a couple months, really. This affects next year's gaming. So by the time these changes will have been made, it'll be 2 years of me being on YouTube already, and me basically doing the same exact kind of thing on YouTube, and that is picking a bunch of games that look interesting to me that I really want to play, sitting down with the camera, filming my TV, doing a full playthrough of these games, and then moving on to the next one and wash, rinse, repeat. Okay. And over the past 2 years, I've done a lot of different things other than just that on my channel, and I've done a bunch of different series, and I've branched out in different areas. But I really feel like at this point, there's kind of been a roadblock that I've hit, and so I'm thinking about making changes. Now, these changes are not brand new. These are actually changes that I had and was going to make, if you remember, a few weeks back when I had that night where I created a whole new channel called Voodoo's Graveyard, and I posted on Twitter that I had a big announcement I was going to make, and then really the next day things kind of changed. But back then, the reason I wanted to make changes was because the poor internet connection here at my apartment, I wasn't able to keep up with all my uploads, and I was falling behind, and I felt like I needed to make a change. But now, I need to make a change for multiple different reasons that I will get into, okay? So I will detail to you in this video the changes I'm planning to make for next year. And then, as I said, I would really appreciate it if you guys would leave me feedback on those changes, and from there, I will progress and make my ultimate decision. And the reason I'm doing this so early as opposed to the end of this year, beginning of next year, is because I want to give this time for people to give me feedback. I want to make this a process and give me plenty of time to make a transition, if I'm to make one, and put focus on these new things that I'm going to be doing on my channel. Okay? That's why I'm doing this such ahead of time in the middle of November. All right. So first of all, let me talk to you guys the reasons that I really feel I need a change. Okay, and then I'll get into what the changes are going to be. You know, like I said, I do all these games that I pick, and there's been a bunch of issues for me that I've had to fight doing this YouTube thing for a long time. And probably the biggest challenge that I face, and the one that I find myself fighting day in and day out, is amount of time, okay, that I have to do the things I want to do on this YouTube channel. Because the fact is, as you guys know me, I'm very personal with you guys. I'm a college student, I'm a junior, I'm majoring in biology, and just that in itself is extremely time consuming, being a college student, okay, and doing all the work involved with college. But it's so much more than that, because obviously I live with two of my best friends, okay? So we hang out, and we have fun, and we do a lot of things together when we can. Okay, because we're not always here at the same time. I have a girlfriend that I spend a lot of time with, and she's over here at the apartment a lot of times. We do football games. LSU football games are huge, and me and my friends and girlfriend, we're all into it, and we make it a huge priority. Sundays, I watch the NFL all day. I love football. This time of year is great for me. I love watching all the football I can watch. You know, I don't live here. I actually, you know, or my home isn't here. My home, my family, is about 60 miles down the road, which isn't very far, but what it means is that on some weekends, I'll take a drive back home and I spend time with them. And really, it's an insane juggling, balancing act between all these different aspects of my life and, of course, this YouTube channel where I have to play all these games. And there simply, guys, isn't enough time in a day or in a week to balance it all and to do all the things I want to do when I want to do them on YouTube with all these games. And as you know, I'm always behind. I'm perpetually behind. Every single game I started a playthrough of this year, in the second half of the year, I haven't finished, and I'm behind on, because I haven't had time. And so time is the biggest enemy that I really face doing this, okay? But there's many, many more, and let me explain. There's a big difference, and you don't really maybe understand this until you do it like I've been doing it for 2 years, and you really start to understand. There's a huge difference between just sitting down and playing a video game in your spare time and setting up a video camera and doing a playthrough of a game. There's huge differences. And you may not think it's that big of a deal. What's the difference? You put a camera up or you don't. What's the big difference? Well, let me explain to you from somebody who's been doing this for 2 years now what the huge differences are and the challenges that face it. Number one, you want to have, when you're just sitting down playing a game, you may do it for like an hour, maybe even half an hour, just a little bit of spare time here and there. When you have to do a playthrough with a camera, you want to have a significant chunk of time because you don't want to sit down and fool with the camera and get it all set up and all zoomed in and everything perfect to sit down and play for 30 minutes and then be done. Because it messes the whole flow of the game up, the whole flow of the playthrough. So you want a significant chunk of time, and like I just said, I rarely have those big chunks of time. 2, it's very different because when you're just sitting down playing a game, you can really do it anywhere. You can do it in my bedroom here, you can do it out in the living room, you can do it at home. When I go home, I can bring my console with me and play a little bit. You can do it with family, you can do it with friends, you can do it wherever you want. You just need a console and a TV. Not the way with a playthrough. Because, really, I can only do them in here. Because this is where I have the TV, room to set up a camera. This is where I can get, this goes right into the next problem, is that when you're doing a playthrough, you really want kind of nothing in the background except the noise of the game and my commentary, or your commentary. You don't want background noise, you don't want people having conversations in the background. And so unfortunately doing playthroughs is really kind of an alienating thing. Because a lot of the times, I can't have my friends around me when I do playthroughs because, they don't want to be hampered by, oh, we can't talk, we can't have conversations, Josh is filming. And it's also very difficult a lot of times to get quiet because other people live in this apartment and they talk and they do things and there's a lot of background noise. Another problem is when you're just playing a game, you don't have to be in a particularly good mood. You can be in a crappy mood and your way of dealing with it, overcoming it, is playing a game. When you do a playthrough, you have to be willing to talk in a talkative mood and you have to try to be funny and exert effort while you're playing the game instead of just sitting there playing the game. So like I just described, there's huge differences, and it's a lot more of a hassle and work when you are doing, just regular picking up the game and playing it or doing a playthrough. A perfect example is like when my girlfriend's over here and she may be in my room doing homework, I can't play. I can't do a playthrough because I can't be sitting here and talking and doing all this other stuff and distracting her from working. Whereas if I wasn't filming it and just playing the game, I could easily just sit there and play the game on low volume and not disturb her. So ultimately what this leads to is games taking much longer for me to actually play, because I can't play them unless I'm in a position willing to do a playthrough. And as I just described, the conditions have to be kind of specific for you to do a playthrough. You have to be in a good mood, a talkative mood, you have to have plenty of free time to do it, and you have to have silence or be in a place where you can do it. So it takes a lot longer to get through games than it just normally would just sitting here playing them. And that's again what's happened to me, is all these games I haven't been able to get through because, you know, I can't play them unless I'm in a playthrough setting, okay? And I just described to you what that was. So that's a big problem. So that's the dichotomy between doing a playthrough and just regularly playing a game. So that's another, you know, big problem with what I'm doing right now on YouTube. Another one is the fact that there is just an over-flooded market of this stuff. There are so many people on YouTube doing the kind of stuff I'm doing, sit down, let's play, live commentary, that it's just, my stuff just gets lost. It just gets lost in the mass of other people's stuff. And I understand that because there's so much of it now that my stuff just blends in with everybody else's. And I'll be honest, I know that I'm not particularly the greatest commentator or the funniest or anything like that when I do these playthroughs, and I'll openly admit that. So there's a lot of issues, as I just described, with what I'm doing currently on YouTube. And because of, and you know, the number one thing, and the telltale sign to me that it's time for a change is that it's been 2 years of me doing this on YouTube, and my viewership really hasn't gone up, okay? My subscribers crawl forward. The views on my videos remain low on my playthroughs for 2 straight years. No significant growth, nothing. The lack of feedback I get from my viewers on my gameplay videos and stuff is just another indication that it's not working. I've done it for 2 years. It's extremely taxing on me. There's all these situations, all these problems that I just described, and I'm not getting views. I'm just not. People are not enjoying it. People aren't finding my content. People aren't really doing it. And again, it makes no difference to me about money. I don't care about that. It's a hobby of mine, and I would like people to view my channel, obviously. And they're not. So it tells me straight up, it's not working. Okay? So with all those things in mind, I'm going to propose to you the changes that I'm going to make starting next year. Now, the first important thing to note is that I will be finishing my playthroughs of every game that I started doing a playthrough of this year, with the exception of Resident Evil 6. That game, we're not continuing because we thought the game sucked. Plain and simple. But all the other games, Darksiders 2, Borderlands 2, Dishonored, Assassin's Creed 3, there are more, I'm forgetting. Are there more? I don't know. But you get my idea. All the games that I've started this year, playthroughs of, that I have not finished, I will be finishing doing my full playthroughs here on YouTube. Okay, I started it, I'm going to finish it. And I'll do all my normal reviews, my Voodoo's verdicts for all of them, and it'll be just like normal. However, starting next year in 2013, before all the new games come out, these are the proposed changes I will make. Number 1, I will not be doing full live commentary playthroughs on YouTube of very many games at all. Okay? So before anybody goes nuts who enjoys my gameplay, what does this mean? It does not mean that I will no longer be doing video game footage. That's not what it means at all. I will still be doing plenty of video game footage. In fact, I will be doing full playthroughs of games. However, it will not be every single game I play and every release that I want to play. It will be the big, major, main releases that I really, really want to play and that I'm excited about playing. So for instance, Dead Space 3 next year, a game series that I absolutely love, one of my favorite game series. I'll no problem doing a full game playthrough of Dead Space 3. BioShock Infinite, that's a no-brainer for me. A game that my favorite franchise ever. I will be doing a full playthrough of that game. However, the exceptions will be games such as, let's say, Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider, or Metro Last Light that's coming out. Maybe even GTA 5, or some of these other games that I want to play, but they're not games that I'm highly anticipating, that I am huge fans of the series or anything like that. So what I will be doing is, I will be doing full playthroughs of the games that I'm really big fans of, that I really want to play, like the games I just mentioned. I will also be playing the games that I want to play, but aren't huge fans of. I just won't be doing them on camera. I'll be doing them off camera. However, I will be still doing game reviews for every game that I play. So even though I may not play Tomb Raider a full playthrough on YouTube, I will still do my Voodoo's Verdict on Tomb Raider. And from that, you guys know that that is a direct reflection of how I felt about the game. And so, you still get an idea of what I thought about the game and basically my experience with the game and everything like that. So you will not miss out on that, and I still get to play the game. And more or less bring it to you in Voodoo's Verdict. And there's a couple reasons for doing this and a couple big advantages it will give me. Number one, the games that I do full playthroughs for will be very good, because when you're really enjoying a game or really anticipating a game, it shows in the playthrough. The commentary is just better, whereas if I'm sitting here playing a game like a Tomb Raider or something that I want to play but I'm not really necessarily heavily invested in, the commentary could be very blah and tends to get very blah. So that's an advantage it will give me. Another advantage is I will be able to play games at a much faster rate, and I'll be able to just sit down and play a game whenever I want to if it's a game that I'm not doing a full playthrough of. And I'll be able to get through it in a reasonable amount of time, which means I might actually be able to bring you guys Voodoo's Verdict when the game is still relevant, okay? So that's the big thing. The big change, obviously, would be not doing full playthroughs of every game I play on YouTube, but the games that I really want to play, and then maybe not just new releases, but games that I really enjoy playing or really have a desire to play, I can do playthroughs of. You know, that might not necessarily be the new releases, but are games that I really want to play. One big thing that will remain on my channel is a lot of multiplayer content, because that's very easy. That's not like a playthrough. That's very easy to sit down and hook the camera up and film a few matches of multiplayer. And then it really doesn't make a difference what conversations are going on or anything like that, because it's easy, it's laid back, it's just multiplayer. There's no story, there's no game progression, it's just matches of multiplayer. That's very easy to film, and I've never had a problem filming multiplayer, alright? So multiplayers that I'm really enjoying, like Black Ops 2, if I really enjoy it, that goes into next year, I'm still playing the game, I can do plenty of Black Ops 2 matches for you guys. Assassin's Creed 3, if I really like the multiplayer, I can continue to do multiplayer matches of that for you guys. And there's games that I may not do a full playthrough of, but may have a multiplayer component. And maybe I won't do a full playthrough of the game, but I'll put up some of the multiplayer footage that I play from that game, along with my Voodoo's Verdict, okay? So that's the main change I'm proposing to my channel. It eliminates a ton of problems. The time issue becomes less of a factor. It's just, trust me, it's going to alleviate a lot of stuff. And in that way, people who want to watch my gameplay, the videos they'll see from me are games that are big releases that I really want to play, that my commentary is going to be the best on, okay? And then I feel that I can be the funniest and the most entertaining because I'll want to play those games. I'll be invested in those games. And maybe, because I'm so invested in those games, maybe my commentary will be a little bit more unique than other people on the internet who do everything, okay? So that's the main change. And then you might be saying to yourself, wow, well, that's a lot less content that's going to be on the channel, and the channel is going to be very slow at that point. But what I'm planning on doing is supplementing my lack of gameplay footage with new things, new series that people might enjoy. So, for instance, podcasts. People loved Voodoo's Brew, okay? It was a very successful series, and unfortunately it's been kind of discontinued because Brandon and I have, unfortunately, just as a fact of life, kind of gone apart, drifted apart. We barely talk anymore, and it's just, you know, I'm here doing my thing, he's in California, busy with his life, doing college, and we've just kind of drifted apart, and so it's really not a series that I necessarily see coming back. It was very successful when we did it, but I just think that we're very drifted apart at this point, and I don't know if we just randomly got back together. I haven't spoken to him, you know, voice to voice. I can't remember the last time. I really can't. We used to talk on Skype all the time. We just don't anymore. And so I don't think that if we were able ever just to come back together, that chemistry would just reform. You know what I mean? I don't think that the show, unfortunately, could ever really be the same that it used to be. And, you know, it's tough to say that, but I just think because we've drifted kind of apart and we're separate, kind of doing our own things, that, you know, I just don't think that it would be what it used to be. And not only that, but because of the massive time difference, the fact that we have very different lives now, you know, it'd be a series that we could not promise you would come out on the same day every week. It would be sporadic, like it eventually wound up being, where we just can't coordinate our schedules to meet up, and it's not something that's consistent. So for those people who are asking, is it ever coming back? I really don't see it happening, okay? For those reasons, just because, you know, I don't think it could ever be what it used to be, and I think people would be disappointed ultimately if it were to come back and it just wasn't as good. But I am definitely heavily interested in doing another podcast series, and it would be separate from Voodoo's Brew, because I've always said from the beginning, Voodoo's Brew was Brandon and I's thing, and I'm not going to call anything Voodoo's Brew that isn't what it was. Okay, so that Voodoo's Brew, that name is kind of reserved for that, and it's kind of up on the shelf and done with. But I'm thinking of doing a new podcast, a weekly podcast, that I would set on a specific day that you guys could count on. Every week it would come out. A weekly podcast with mainly myself, but also doing it with some of my friends here, like Dave, like Tyler, like Chris. These friends that I have that are interested in gaming and could come in, and obviously, you know, they're here. It's much easier to coordinate schedule with people that live with you than people who live in 3 hours difference of time, okay, in a completely another state. So I'm thinking of doing that, and there may be a couple, you know, episodes where it's just me if other people are busy, but a lot of the times, and probably most of the times, I'll have people with me. One person, two people, you know, more, all commenting. A weekly podcast where I could answer questions. I could answer questions from the viewers if you guys had any questions. Let me just check my time. If you guys had any questions that you wanted to ask me, every week I could do, you know, a segment on that show where I could answer your questions. I could have a segment where I have people call in through Skype or something, and we can have a conversation on the show. I can live stream the podcast every week. If people would be interested in that, I could live stream it on Twitch TV. I have an account over there, and I could stream the show every week and then put it up on YouTube maybe a day later, so people who were at the stream, you know, those people could call in. Those could be the callers and ask, you know, live questions and all kinds of stuff, and it would just be me and my friends talking about video games, talking about life, just, you know, shooting the breeze and just talking, having a good time on a weekly podcast. I think that would be something that people would really enjoy based on how successful Voodoo's Brew was. And it would be something, since I'm doing it locally here, that I could easily coordinate obviously have chemistry with these guys. They've been my best friends for a long time. And something we could do on the fly, live stream it, answer questions. I think it would be great. I think it would be a really good addition. Son of a bitch. I just knocked a bunch of shit off my fucking dresser. I wasn't paying any attention. But yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna talk as I clean some of this up because I spilled it. But I actually can't because my towels are in the washing machine. But anyway, I will get it. But I think it'd be a great, addition to the channel to do a podcast like that if people are interested. And other series. I don't really know about any yet. That's why I'm doing this early, so I have time to think about new series to do. I was also thinking about opening up a brand new channel dedicated to Louisiana football, where I do a weekly podcast after every LSU football game and every Saints football game for people who are interested in those football teams. For me to do like a podcast every week, a show talking about the games and talking about the teams next season. So there's just a lot of ideas I have that would complement that, and I think really that it's a direction that the channel could really go in and be a positive direction. And I think that really a lot of things will work out. I would play the games that I really want to play, do full playthroughs of. The other ones that I want to play, I could still play, just not on camera, but I could do the Voodoo's Verdict for them. I could do multiplayer. I could focus on playing multiplayer with my viewers and really have a more interactive environment with everybody and do new things like that weekly podcast, which I think is a tremendous idea. New series that I think of, maybe a vlog show about my personal life, what's going on, or maybe a vlog show where I talk to you guys about, I don't know, life, or give you guys advice, or a show where people can ask me questions about life or something like that, or questions about being in college and I can answer them for you guys and maybe give you a little bit of what, help and talk to you guys about being in college and my experiences. And so I think really the new direction could be really positive. And I'm still getting an HD camera for Christmas, by the way. That's not changing. So all the gameplay videos I do and anything else I do will be in HD. And so I think the direction could be really positive, but I really need you guys' feedback on this, because if I don't have feedback, I don't know if this is a good direction for my channel. I'm thinking it's the direction I'm going to go, but it would be great if I could get some feedback from you guys regarding this. And I really implore you guys, if there's any video you're going to leave feedback on, please let it be this one. I was actually able to make this video in a lot shorter time than I thought I was going to be able to, so that's a good thing. But leave comments, feedback, please, as to whether or not you think this is a good direction for my channel. Because I think it is, and I think it would make me unique from everybody else out there. It would free up my time. I could play games a lot easier. And the channel would still be a lot about video games, just not necessarily full playthroughs of games, okay? So that's my proposed changes, but all the playthroughs that I started this year are going to finish out through December and January. I will finish all those playthroughs, and then before the games next year start, that's when I'll implement my new changes if I do that, okay? So please, in the comments, leave me your feedback. Let me know what you think. This is a topic that I'll revisit many times before the end of the year, or many times before any changes are implemented. So you guys let me know what you think about the future direction of the channel, if you guys like that idea or not. Any suggestions or advice you guys have, I'd be more than willing to take it and be very appreciative. So let me know what you think, and I'll have a conversation with you guys in the comments. If you guys post up in the comments, I will answer you guys back and we can have a dialogue. It would be great. So thank you for watching. I'm Voodoo51292. I'm excited about the possibilities of the channel in the future. Let me know what you guys think. Other than that, enjoy Black Ops 2 this week, because I'm going to enjoy it. So be sure to leave feedback. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you later.